Hello guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you the best vibe coding setup based off my thousands of hours of experience making hundreds of different vibe coding apps and earning over 6 figures in 2025 only from vibe coding. So let's get into it. Okay, so this video is going to be broken up into 3 different parts because of every single time you vibe code, it always follows 3 different parts, which is the actual refining of a prompt, the initial prompt and getting the MVP. And then it goes from turning that prompt and the MVP into what you want it to look like, getting the landing page ready, getting all the graphics and animations set, and then finally onto the back end and to actually publishing it live. Because of without the back end or without the front end, then the app's going to be incomplete. So the first step, the initial thing that I do is always start with inspiration. And when I say inspiration, what I mean is taking things off of the internet that you can then paste into the AI tool and the AI coding platform to make your app 10 times better and to get it done 10 times faster. So let's say I want to make a game, then maybe what I do is I go and I say, I'd search up Crossy Road and I just take Crossy Road. And then I go to ChatGPT, this is the first step, and I say, I want to build a game. It should be similar to Crossy Road, yet be a frog that is a character you play with. And this is the initial part. This is where we start the entire vibe coding process, which is step number 1. Getting an LLM, ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, whatever you want to use, to write you a full prompt. So I'm just going to say, write me a prompt that will generate a fully functional, fully ready Crossy Road like game. And then I just press send. And what it's going to do is it's going to take the context that I provided it so it kind of knows what style we want to go for. Then it's going to, start writing the master prompt. And this means that we don't need to, go to whatever coding tool, which I'm going to show you next step. We don't need to go and write in every single thing. What we basically get is we basically get this perfectly ready-made prompt. Where it says a game overview, tech requirements, core gameplay, obstacles and lanes, and all the visual styles, even audio, everything. If there's something we don't like, we can just take it away. So, for example, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to include the tech requirements in the prompt because I believe that the coding tool that we want to use is probably going to know what tech requirements better than the actual this prompt maker. Yet, I'm going to use every single thing else. Then what we do is into phase 2. So now we have our prompt, we have our context, which we're going to be pasting in here, paste in that image, and we paste in our prompt. Now, as you remember, we're going to go to the tech requirements and we're going to delete the tech requirements because we don't want the coding agent to be hindered in any way possible. Now we're going to paste in the entire prompt. Make sure your model's on Gemini 3 Pro Preview. Now, what I'm going to be using is I'm going to be using aistudio.google.com. Now, this is a free tool, and in my opinion, the best front-end coding tool that is out on the market. Not only is it free, but it also has a feature that allows us to go into phase 3, which is, in my opinion, the most important phase, or else nothing's going to matter. It doesn't matter if you create a vibe coding game if you can't finish phase 3. But Google AI Studio is free, and it also has the feature, which I'm going to speak about soon, that allows us to go into phase 3. It's already writing up the code, didn't need to think for that long. Phase 1 was generating a prompt and getting it all ready, and phase 2 is actually starting the vibe coding on the front end. Okay, so here's the game. Let's see how it does. Let's go into full screen. And yeah, it looks really good. Oh, okay, I just died. It looks really good. Of course, there's some fixes that can be made, but as an initial MVP, I think it's really impressive. We got logs, we got roads, we got the fact that you actually die. Yeah, it's a really good game, I think. Of course, there's some loading states that are a bit weird, so we'll fix that. But in general, I really like the way that it looks. One thing that I do want to add though is I want to add the possibility for skins. So if you go back here, we can see that there are AI features that says add frog skins. I'm just going to send that prompt, and this is phase 2, iterating the front end. So believe it or not, this actually has no backend. And as it has no backend, it means that it won't save usernames, it won't save personal best scores, it won't save any of that sort, any skins, any leaderboards. And of course, people are going to want that. So this game is, first of all, unpublishable because it's going to remove everything. It's going to have no backend logic. I've just added trains just to see the capabilities of this front end. And then we're going to move on to phase 3. But before we move on to phase 3, we actually need to facilitate phase 3. This is super important. So we need to build a front end for the back end. And for the back end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a login, like a simple little place where you log in. Yet, we need to do it on front end first because of how are we going to get the back end to work if no front end exists. So I'm going to say, nice. Now make a themed login page for users to log in and to be placed on leaderboard. So wow, that's a really, really nice 3D model. We now got trains. Oh, just missed that train there. Oh, that's close. Okay, so we can now sign in with Google. We can play as a guest. We have the leaderboards. We can select different skin colors. We've got a bunch of different stuff. And yes, I now believe that this game's ready for the backend. And then what we do is we go to the top right here and press save to GitHub. Now the repository name can be Froggy Road and the description can be first $1 trillion game or something, I'm not sure. Now I typically have my repository to private and we just press create. Now if you haven't connected your GitHub, it's really, really simple. You just log in through Google or email or phone number or whatever. And yes, so we now have it all out. And we can stage and we can, if you want to, I don't typically do anything here, but you can kind of comment on what you've done. But yeah, we have all the files here and let's commit to GitHub. And yes, what we're going to do now that we have a GitHub repository is going to phase 3. Yes, okay, so once you've found your way onto GitHub, you just go into your profile and then you go into whatever. My name's please subscribe, which, well, you read my name, please subscribe if possible. And then as I'm sure you guys who know, as I'm sure you guys know what we're doing by now, we're going to clone the GitHub repository. So the way that you do that is you go into the code button here, you press it and you just copy this URL. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into cursor. We're then going to go into clone repo, paste in that URL that we've just done, and then I'm going to create a folder called Froggy Road. And now I've created a folder called Froggy Road. Now I do have Cursor Pro just because of I vibe code a lot. Same with Gemini. I also got Gemini Pro. You don't need the pro versions for this. I've got a bunch of pro vibe coding tools, but you don't really need to. And yeah, so right now it's just cloning the Git repository, and in a couple of seconds it's going to open it up. And yeah, phase 3 is practically almost done. All right, so I now have the repository opened up on Cursor. As you see, I got my agent on the left-hand side. I got my files and all my folders on the right-hand side, and then I got the terminal on the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to go into a terminal and type npm install. What this does is it installs all the necessary, just think of it as things, to be able to run this locally. And then after they've installed all of these things, then what we're going to do is we're going to type in npm run dev, and then hopefully, as we are going to see now, we are going to see a preview, but it doesn't seem to be popping up. So I'm just going to ask, why isn't the preview popping up? The reason why I'm using Grok code is because of, personally, I think it's first of all quite underrated. It's also very fast and it's free in Cursor. So if you've got Cursor, I'd recommend you using Grok code. It is actually a really nice model, very fast. Okay, so now Grok code's just doing a little bit of debugging. Okay, awesome. So we now got the game previewing in Cursor. If you want to, we can just say, now make the backend allow the user to store leaderboard points and log in through Google. So phase 1, doing everything on ChatGPT, getting the prompt perfect. Phase 2, building up a front end on Google AI Studio. And phase 3, the final and most important one, getting the back end and getting every single thing fully functional and ready to deploy. And the final step, get a nice little domain name, deploy and sell, and you have got a fully functional app. See you.